brand used to be this perception of a company that you created and managed and manufactured as distinct from the company itself. But we're now in a marketplace of increased transparency, accountability, authenticity, and I almost see the brand disappearing because the most effective brand is one that's in alignment with who the company is itself. So as a leader, as a CEO, you need to ask yourself on a personal level, what is your role? What do you care about? How do you bring those core values of your own and the brand to life in a way that's meaningful to your employees? And when you do that, your company will be an authentic expression of itself. That will be your brand, and then it will resonate with your employees and customers.
And how do you advise leaders who are concerned about losing control? You talked earlier about the lack of control, and one of the things that I've found to be very effective is to help people establish boundary conditions so that a group can really come up with ideas or crowdsource within the boundaries of what the company can actually achieve. What's your experience?
Control is, in a sense, gone in a traditional sense. There was a long time, for a long time, CEOs could, effectively stay behind the boardroom doors, both in terms of their employees or their customer base. But now they need to put a face to the company on both levels. But beyond that, they need to engage with their customer community, they need to engage with their employees and offer transparency, authenticity, and accountability, which includes admitting when you make a mistake. The other challenge is, as media is more distributed in that all their employees and all their customers can also create content, you can't necessarily control the conversations around the brand anymore. And you have to accept that your employees and your customers co-author the stories that brands tell. And that means you have to be willing to let them have a voice. You have to be willing to let that conversation migrate across different channels, offline and offline. And that implies letting go to some extent, which is the whole let go and lead idea. A CEO needs to go, you know what? We are not the only ones who have media outlets now. Our employees do, our community of customers do. We're going to entrust them with responsibility for that. We're going to champion in that, and we're going to play the sort of moderator role as we need to.
And as a brand strategist, how do you feel about companies encouraging multiple employees to be out representing the brand? Blogging, tweeting, conversing with their customers. Because earlier you talked about really having one brand voice.
Right.
So it's an interesting paradox to juggle.
Sure. I mean, the way it needs to happen in an orderly fashion. When I work with brands, we will define that brand very clearly. We will create a manifesto that is not just consumer-facing, but employee-facing as well. So everyone knows what the company stands for, without a doubt. Then there will be some sort of, like there is a style guide in terms of the design or brand identity of a brand, there will be a brand tone of voice that will be sort of laid out for people so they get a sense of what can be said or what can't be said, what to do in crisis situations, what sort of protocol is there when something goes wrong. And then you have to, hand on your heart, let people go out there and do it. And, those people in your organization that should be doing it should understand the brand. They should be very social by nature. They should be committed to authentic engagement. They should clearly understand what level of engagement and what protocol to follow if something goes wrong. And then, you just have to trust that a little humanity goes a long way with your customers.